Hello, Stephen Roger here, and we are exploring sayings, things that we've heard along the way through our careers, both in sport and since in business, that resonate. And it's your turn, Rog. We love a
My
saying.
turn.
What have you got today?
Got a good one today, Steve. And the phrase, the saying is, if it was meant to be easy, then everybody would be doing it.
Okay.
Now, why is that so important to me? This was something that was said to me. It wasn't something I read. It wasn't something I think that's out there and that's a well-known phrase. It was something that's said to me by a very well-known person. His name is Daley Thompson, a good friend of ours, one of the greatest athletes, British athletes of all time, Olympic champion in the decathlon in 1980, 1984.
Legend. Let's use the word in context. Legend.
Legend. Absolutely. But, a god, maybe even a god in our eyes. And so let me put some context behind it. I came into athletics aged 18 in 1984, sorry. And had a good year in 1985. Right? Yeah, a long time ago. So came in and early 1986, I remember running my first indoor championships, the Cosford Games. So I was very young, very naive. And I remember in the distance seeing Daley Thompson. There was Daley Thompson. And actually 1985. And I couldn't believe I was in the same space as Daley Thompson. He was in the far corner.
Already twice Olympic champion by then, right?
Yeah, exactly. Two-time Olympic champion, bang. And then in March of 1985, I went out and did some warm weather training with my friend John Ridgen, who you know well. And we went on a training camp in Portugal, and Daley Thompson was there.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it. Daley Thompson is there. And I'm in the same room with him, and he comes over and he says hello. And we're playing cards, and I get to know him. And you don't meet your heroes, right? And you're meeting my hero. Now, Daley has now subsequently become such a close friend and a huge influence in my career. So let's fast forward to 1987. So in 1986, I'm Commonwealth European champion, British Athlete of the Year, potential world champion, potential Olympic champion. And in 1987, I had a pretty bad year at the World Championships in Rome. And in the winter of 1987, I fractured my foot. So for the whole of 1988 and 1989, I'm out. I'm injured. My career is potentially over, and I'm struggling. But I'm still trying to be around the guys. So I still go to California to train, to be around Chris Akabusi and Daley, because Daley invited myself and Chris to train with him in California. And I remember being with Daley, and I was at my lowest, probably the lowest I've ever been, if I'm honest, as an athlete. Really thinking, this is too hard. I'm not sure I can get back from this.
Doubting.
Yeah, really doubting, just thinking, not being able to relate to running fast, not being able to relate to being healthy, unable to, having to do all this stuff, and all the guys are on the track running. I'm swimming in water. I've got my leg in a cast. It's not good. It's not good, Steve. And I was pretty down, and I was moaning to Daley. And Daley just turned to me and he said, Rog, if this was easy, then everyone would be doing it. And at that moment in time, what he was saying to me was, this is part of the journey. You got a choice. And if you don't accept that this isn't supposed to be easy, it's not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be hard. And because if it was easy, then everyone would be trying to win Olympic medals. Everyone would it would be easy to win Olympic medals. It would be easy to stay at the top of the game in the world of athletics. And I think that was the moment. I mean, it helps when you hear it from someone like that, right? And I think that was the moment where I almost admitted to myself that the rest of my career was going to be and should be hard. And the moment I accepted that it was going to be a struggle, that actually the struggle was part of it, of any high level of performance, the moment I accepted the struggle, I was able to actually, I don't know, I can't articulate it. I just never forgotten that. And every time in business that we've had setbacks, and we've both had setbacks in business. Now, I know we always remind ourselves, well, no one said it was going to be easy. It's such a simple phrase.
What did it do for you?
I think the thing is, and you see it in athletics, you see athletes who think it is going to be easy. You just do this, and you're going to win an Olympic medal. And I think actually the starting point is to recognize that actually it's not supposed to be easy.
Well, it makes you fragile. I think that's the challenge. It makes you fragile, because if you think it's going to be easy and it's not, you're going to trip at the first hurdle and not get up. And so what I'm interested in from how that changed your world is what impact did it have to your psyche and what you actually did on a day-to-day basis. What happened? Now, just tell us.
Well, I think I accepted that there were no guarantees and that I wouldn't definitely get back. But that freed me up to commit. To commit with uncertainty,
accepting the reality.
Accepting the reality rather than living in this false perception that it's all going to be okay if I just let it happen, which in some walks of life maybe is true. But I think in sport, you do have to make it happen, and you do have to be grateful that you're still in the game, even if because you have a choice every day as an athlete. You can step away, or you can stay in. And I was close to stepping away, I guess. But because of what Daly said, I'd accepted the struggle and I stayed in. And fortunately, I got back.
So fast forward 40 years, and you went on to have another 10 years or more of successes as a result of that time, didn't you? Into the sort of late 90s or mid to late 90s. But fast forward another 20 years on top of that, and where we are today, and our work with estate agents who are thinking of or already independent, and then potentially becoming part of EA Champions, as we've set up. We want to help agents to be the best possible version of what they are. Where do you think that's saying and the impact of what it can do? Where do you think that fits in the journey of an estate agent?
I guess it fits for anybody who's going from either the individual agent who's part of the corporate structure, stepping away to go independent on their own, which is a huge step. Or the owner of an independent agency is looking to bring the whole agency over to partner with EXP and therefore change the way behind the scenes that they operate the business. It takes it takes a degree of leap of faith. But if if anyone naively thinks, well, I'll just do this and it's going to be easy, then I think that they're setting themselves up to fail. I think where it is relevant is that any big decision, any uncomfortable decision, any way of trying to do something differently and going against what you've always done, initially is going to be challenging because you're starting something new. You're going to have to work and behave and think in a different way. But if you accept that actually there are going to be hurdles, there are going to be setbacks along the way, it's not meant to be smooth sailing, it's not meant to be easy, then I think most people who are successful have that mindset, as alongside a really positive, motivating, yes, we can do this, but you always got to have that little bit of accepting that there are going to be problems along the way, or as soon as that first problem comes, you just go, oh, this isn't for me, I'm going to go back to what I used to do.
And you have that same fragility, and we know statistically that someone becomes an independent agent, there's a challenge somewhere between 6 months and a year where the honeymoon period's over and maybe the first hurdle has been clipped and things become challenging. Is then that's when champions are born in many ways, isn't it? To use the sporting analogy, but that's the time when we might need to circle the wagons and find out what we're really made of. So yeah, I love that, Rog.
Thank you, Daly. I'll tell you what, as an aside, he also had a lot of other phrases that I can't repeat. So but what an inspiration. And he maybe won't even remember that conversation. But at that moment in time, at that stage in my career, one, I needed to hear it, but I needed to hear it from somebody I was going to listen to. And you did listen to Daly. And I'm very, very fortunate to have had him in my close circle.
Awesome. Great stuff. Well, look, until next time.
Yeah.
See you then.
Your turn next.